Got it. Okay. Ooh.
All right, you ready? We're going. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Astrology Updates with Joann Wolff. My name is Winterbrook, psychic medium. I'm also a trance medium and a physical medium. And from time to time, for those who are unfamiliar with me, I ask one of my colleagues to let me interview them so that they can share their knowledge with you. And I'll be honest, I get a lot of, I do a lot of readings for people. So one of the things that's been coming up, I'm trying to mute everybody except for Joann. So if you see yourself unmuted, please mute yourselves in the Zoom room. We don't want your background noise. No offense. We love you here. So one of the things that have been coming up over and over again with my clients is this feeling of, I'm not sure where I'm going. Things seem so uncertain. I've been, I've had a lot of things happen to me, both
no kidding.
wonderful things lately, as well as the counterbalance. Okay. So I just had a bad day and I picked up the phone to my lovely certified astrologer colleague. She also is my teacher for astrology. I've learned so much from her, and I am her teacher. Talk about a yin-yang relationship for mediumship and trance. She is certified by a wonderful organization called the International Society of Astrological Research. It sounds like she was explaining to me that it was 2 days, a 6-hour test, kind of like I had for the bar exam as an attorney.
12 hours, 6 hours.
I had 3 days because I did Northport. I did New York for 2 days, and then I did New Jersey for a day. So she also takes continuing ed, which is very important to me because I take continuing ed, and I think we can all learn from one another. Yeah. And it kind of irks me sometimes with practitioners who feel that they are above, exchanging ideas and information and education with other colleagues. So anyway, no more of me. I'll come back on later. Now, what we're going to do tonight is Joann's going to give us, there's so much going on in the skies right now. She's going to share an overall view of what's going on and how it can affect different people, different signs. At the end, if we have time, we will do some mini readings. But for your safety, because you don't want to, if you're on Facebook, please check my page and come on to the Zoom. I want you to private message, do it to me, and then I'll copy it to Joann if she decides to do reading. So your date of birth, your name, and place and time.
The place and the time
Okay. So don't give me a paragraph. Just give me that information privately so that don't put it in the everyone's chat. And there we go. Remember, guys, mute yourselves because we don't want to hear your background noise. You'll do it in a private chat to me so that the public at large cannot see your information and then go steal all your money or something because they know your date of birth and they can get your particulars. Okay. But the most important is the general chat. And so without much further ado, may I introduce to you a beloved friend, a wise sage, and a knowledgeable astrologer whom I recommend frequently, Joann Wolff.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. There's just so much going on. I don't even know where to begin, but I think we should begin with the full moon tonight. I think that's a good start. There's a full moon tonight in the sign of Aquarius. And, as you know, a full moon is when the sun and the moon oppose each other. So we have the sun in lusty, let's rip it up, let's have a great summer with fun and everything, opposing the very logical, and let's put everything in order, Aquarius, and see the overview. And this is called a supermoon only because, in school, which we see these illustrations of the solar system, and we see the moon going around the sun, and it's always like in these circles. But no, the path of the moon around the Earth is elliptical. So there are times when in its track, it's way far away from the Earth, and then there's times when it's very close. So right now, it's very, very close to the Earth. The size of the moon does not change. So we're seeing it as this huge thing, which is really an optical illusion. The size of the moon doesn't change. It couldn't. It's not an expanding ball. But the power and the energy of that moon is extremely strong. So the emphasis will be on sort of like out of bounds or out of control emotions, where people will kind of feeling a little bit like, their emotions will be stronger. They'll be much stronger. They'll really like be holding on to old ideals, yet letting go, wanting to let go, wanting to move forward, not knowing whether they should or not. So there's that kind of tension. There's that kind of tension. There's the joie de vivre of, the sun in Leo, with kind of the restrictive and overview, the clinical overview, very intellectual Aquarius. So that's kind of what's going on. And so in the meantime, we have, let me see, what did I put here? We said the situation. Eris, the planet, there's a minor planet called Eris, and she's the sister of Mars. And she's the planet of discord, the planet of discontent. She's the fairy that wasn't invited to the christening. So she's getting even with everybody. And she's in the sign of Aries. So that's also adding a little bit of fire to the, it's sextiling the Leo sun, but it's also, and so it's adding a little bit more fire to the mix, So that's why we're seeing a lot of discontent. That's why we're seeing a lot of actually shootings and stuff, because Eris she really likes to get even. She likes to get even. So that's kind of what's coming up over there. So Eris is also, now something else has happened during this time that's even more important than this full moon. There was something called the nodal shift. And the nodal shift is when the path of the moon and the sun meet in a certain way. In Vedic astrology, they call it the head of the dragon and the tail of the dragon, okay? And these are when fated events happen. So the north node, where the head of the dragon just moved into Aries, and the tail of the dragon is in Libra. So now we have even more fire with the north node is what we aspire to, a goal that we're supposed to go towards for these 18 months that the north node is in Aries. And the south node in Libra is what we're supposed to, where we're comfortable, but we're supposed to change up those situations. If they get older, they get stale, or they don't serve us anymore. So that's the situation that's going on there. And the north node is on Eris, making her even more powerful. So Eris is on the north node. So it's like with Aries is about, me, myself, me, I am what I am, I am what I am. And Libra is about, oh, how can we all get along? So there's this dichotomy of the I am against the relationships. How do we get along? How much do I give up of myself to another person? How much does that person give up to me? And, how do I balance that? How do I balance that against the Aries, which is very innovative, a pioneer? Aries is Tom Cruise doing a stunt off a bridge, where he flies off on his motorcycle into the air and he lands. That's very Aryan. That's a very Aryan thing. Libran is more like, let's compromise. Let's see if we can get along. I want a lovely home. I want a lovely atmosphere. Let's not argue, so it's more complimentary to the other person. But there's a push pull between that. That's going to last for 18 months. 18 months. It's going to be there.
Joann, can I ask you a question? You said they
Yeah.
just moved into these signs.
Yeah.
Where were they prior?
Oh, prior, for the past 18 months, we've had it in Taurus and Scorpio. If that hasn't wrung everybody out, I don't know what will. Taurus and Scorpio was really rough. It was a rough axis to be on because of the planet Uranus being in Taurus. And we had our eclipses. Now, when the nodes change, the eclipses change. They change signs. So in the past year and a half, we had all of our eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio. So if you were a Taurian or a Scorpion, you might have felt that very strongly, or anywhere where Taurus or Scorpio is in your natal chart. And if it hit a planet, it would affect you very, very much. So now we're moving into the nodes move backwards. They move backwards around the zodiac. So now we're in Aries, and we're in Aries and Libra. And so now all of our eclipses will be in Aries and Libra. And just on April 20th, we had an extremely, extremely powerful eclipse in the sign of Aries. So I don't know where anything was, where it was in your chart, where Aries is in your chart, but that's where it would have opened up a whole new 2-year chain of events that could be very educational and very life-changing, really life-changing.
So the past 2 years.
Going forward, it's going forward now. That last eclipse in Aries, it was the first one in Aries and Libra. So it was kind of like a little invitation into, what was to be, what was to come. All right, so let's see. We have that, and then the head. Now, what's really stirring up the sky a lot at this point, before I get into the more of the full moon, is the fact that Pluto, that planet Pluto, that old planet Pluto, is in the sign of Capricorn, and it's been in the sign of Capricorn since 2006. And Pluto is I like to say he's the reconstructionist. He's the renovator. He likes to come in, and wherever he hits your chart, he likes to change it up, and he changes it up in a big way. And sometimes when it goes over your sun, if it goes over an important point in your chart, it can really blow your life up. It could blow your life up. So it's been as I said, it's been in since 2006. And right now it's at the very last degrees of Capricorn. So it's getting ready to go into Aquarius, and it will go into Aquarius in mid-January. And Pluto likes to restructure things, and it's in the sign of Capricorn, which is all about structure. Capricorn rules structures. It rules your skeleton, which is the structure of your body. It rules your skin, which is the structure of your body. It rules buildings. It rules government. It rules, to some extent, banking. It rules government tremendously. It's very Capricornian. Corporations fall under Capricorn. So as you can see, things have been sort of falling apart, sort of like melting, As I've said in the past, the chart of the United States is the same exact chart today that it was in 1776. So we were having what we call a Pluto return. Pluto was coming back to that time in 1776. So what was going on in 1776? The people that lived here, they didn't want to be underneath the rule of the king anymore. Just the way the people today really don't want to be under the rule of the mega millionaires who are just ruling our lives, the corporations. So that kind of thing is kind of unraveling. And the government's unraveling. And Pluto also rules the underworld. So it rules like sludge and the sewer system and getting down and digging muck up. So that's why we're seeing all these scandals come to a head. And this, of course, is creating tremendous chaos in our life because we are creatures who, even though we say we want to embrace change, we don't like it. And it's scary and we don't know which way to go. And people don't know which way to go. So anyway, now we have this Pluto at the last degrees of Capricorn. And that's creating a lot of first of all, it's squaring, because it's in Capricorn, it's squaring Eris and Aries. And a square is a conflict between the two signs. They don't get along. So they like to box it out. They like to fight it. And adjustments have to be made. So, so as far as that's concerned, you know, Pluto is really, really ruling the roost until the middle of January. And that's when we'll get some relief with that. Now there's two other configurations that are really, this configuration happened last week, which is why it was really disruptive in our lives in a way. You know, a lot of stuff went on last week. I don't know personally if there was disruptive stuff. For me, there certainly was. And a lot of people I know. I've heard of a lot of relatives passing of people. A lot of really not such great things happened last week. And that's because there was a thing in the sky called this finger of God. And I made a little illustration of the finger of God. And the finger of God is here. And at the very top of the finger of God, and these are faded, this is a faded event that's up in the sky that's influencing, you know, the influence onto Earth. We have Venus in Leo, which is all about love and beauty. And let's let's get on a float. Let's have a party. Let's live it up. But it's squaring this Pluto in Capricorn. It's squaring this Pluto in Capricorn, which is saying, oh no, we can't have a party on that boat because that boat is falling apart. It's never been maintained. It's going to sink. And Pluto is also feeding into Neptune, which squares Leo, but kind of agrees with it because Neptune is all about art and music and love and fantasy. And yeah, let's not have an argument. Let's just go along with it. But that's also squaring the Leo Venus. And Venus is all about love and money. What people don't realize is that Venus is not just about love, she's about your money. And Venus is also a warrior goddess. She's the warrior goddess. She can be very loving, but she also carries a, what is that thing that the arrows are kept in? You know, she has that slung over her shoulder just in case she has to, give it to somebody. So that's kind of Venus's role in the zodiac. So this influence of this finger of God, which hit people and took people out, it took people out this past week, is very, very strong. The second influence that is very, very strong is this hammer of Thor. And the hammer of Thor is a configuration in astrology. I don't want to go into it too much, but I made another little illustration that you could see. Mars moved into Virgo. It came out of Leo because it was so much fire in the sky. And there's still a lot of fire in the sky, which is just tonight, California blew up again. California is totally on fire. So Greece is on fire. What else is on fire? Italy's on fire. These temperatures that are so hot that are just like really, and so people are on fire too. The hammer of Thor, the handle is in Virgo. Mars in Virgo is very, very like, okay, we got to get it done. Let's make a list. We're going to do it. We're going to get it done. This is what we have to do. Oh, you got to clean that and don't eat that and make sure you're doing this correctly. That is not in accord with Aries, which is the North Node. They don't get along. Virgo and Aries don't get along. It's what we call in astrology a quincunx. We used to call it an inconjunct, but now it's a quincunx. And that means that the energy goes back and forth until they come up with a resolution. A lot of arguments and not really getting along well. And then that's squaring Pluto and Capricorn. So anybody with Aries or Capricorn could feel like a real thump, could have gotten a real thump this week. And these influences are still in the sky. They're still in the sky. Virgo is the one that's ruling it. It's pushing it around because Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is now in Virgo. So Aries is going to do what Virgo tells it to do. So that's kind of those, and they're kind of malefic. They're kind of not such great influences. And as you know, people are really very confused. They don't know which way to go. We can sort of find our way maybe through this.
Maybe even a little bit more combative.
What? A little more combative. Yes, very combative.
So, let me just interject here for a second. First, I want to say hi to everybody who's joining us on Facebook.
Yeah, hello.
I'm not acknowledging you guys only because my fingers are too clumsy on the cell phone. So I do see you. I'll acknowledge you later. Thank you for tuning in. And, this kind of information is good because for those of us know that when the skies are going to make people more combative, like usually full moons, right? Or ask any ER nurse on a full moon.
Yes.
Mother's given birth. You've got the lunatics, right?
Yes.
The people who have some imbalances acting out, and that's influenced by the lunar cycle, the lunatic.
Right.
And, so it can just.
And the tides are high. The tides are much higher than they are normally. The
right.
Tides are very high.
So when we have this information, we can just monitor ourselves a little bit more, not get upset by that aggressive driver. Well, you know what? It's a full moon. We're going to have more crazies on the road. I'm just going to exercise more caution when driving.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course, if you're driving to the airport first thing in the morning on Father's Day and a deer jumps out of the bushes and hits your car, there's nothing you can do anyway, as my daughter and I learned. I got my car back, but these are the crazy things that were happening since last June. So watch the deers too. And Joann, let me, as you're speaking, I want to put in the chat room for everybody. How would they reach out to you if they wanted to get a reading? And I love to get annual readings from you, and I found them very insightful. So
they can reach me on Facebook Messenger. They can reach me on my cell phone. But Facebook Messenger.
You are on Long Island.
I'm on Long Island.
Yeah, because we do have some
Zoom. I do Zoom. I do it all. We could do it by phone. We could do it by Zoom. We could do it by, Facebook. We could do FaceTime. So if we don't have to physically be together.
Right, but I'm just mentioning that because I do have some people tuning in from other countries, and I saw them on Facebook, so they'll know they're getting your cell phone is US.
And I have done readings for people in Europe. I have.
Oh yeah. So but just so that they're not calling, because not everybody has an international plan. So you can also email her, or what's the email, right?
Oh, JOANNELA1219@AOL.com.
All right, I'm going to put this in the chat room for the folks, and then I was going to get this before we started, but we had a little.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions so far? They want to know about something in particular? What's up? What do you want to know about?
All right, so we do have somebody in the chat room, and let's see, Lainey. But the only thing is, Lainey, you haven't given me your location or time of birth, sweetheart. So if you could do that, and the one question that you have, I'll send this over to Joann.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I'm having them go through me is because so you don't get lost in all the messages. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sending you over. Here we go. She's got the. Okay.
She said, well, last time that the nodes were in Aries and Libra, if we think back to December of 2004 to June of 2006, what was going on then in your life? Because there could be like a repeat of the theme of what was going on then. And then it goes back to, where's the other ones? It goes back to 1967 to 1968. I think it was April of 1967 to December of it was April of 1980. I'm sorry, April of 1986 to December of 1987. What was going on then? Was there anything sort of pivotal thing that happened in your life that could be repeated? And
Okay. So Joanne, I sent you over her
okay, let me see.
information. And
Okay, let me see.
Lainey, I'm going to ask you to unmute and you can ask a question, just not
Where did you send it to me on?
private message on the chat,
On the chat. Oh, okay.
but a private one
So
so that the other people can't see it.
Okay. Where would I see that? Where would I see that?
If you go to the bottom of your screen, you should see a little thing that says chat.
Wait, I think, oh, where did I go now? Where did I go? I got out of it. This is crazy. This is just crazy. Let me go back.
So
I have to go back to Zoom. Yeah, Zoom. Okay. More.
I see you. You haven't lost the screen yet.
No, I have this. Still have the screen. I'm looking for chat. It says
Okay.
more.
You want me just to message it to you on
Yeah,
your
message it to me.
cell
It's
phone?
easier. Just message to me.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry too. Oh, this technology, I swear, it's really crazy.
This is why I'm speaking with a 17-year-old high school graduate next week who's actually en route to Harvard. He started a business and has college grads working for him to help me with the promoting and the social media.
Uh-huh.
But I was amazed that this kid is a local kid. Very nice. And imagine that, starting a business. I mean, I had all I could do just to go to college, right? Okay.
Oh,
Lainey,
can you
taking
imagine?
care of it.
Can't even imagine.
I love it when he can do well. Okay. I just texted it. We don't have a time, but she has the place and date.
I did put the time of birth.
Oh, yes. Never mind. My mistake. Thank you. Okay.
Already part of you. Don't talk.
Did you get the time? What was the time? I didn't see it.
Yeah, 8 a.m. That I can give you because that's
Yeah, around
8
8 o'clock.
a.m. Okay, just give me a second. I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's Lainey. Lainey, and you're female, and you were born in October. Oh, I'm not going to say where you were born. That's personal information.
Well, I wasn't born where I live now, but I'll just tell you, I don't care. I was born in the Bronx, New York.
Oh, that's important.
Okay.
That's, tell me where you were born. I don't care where you
Okay.
live now.
I was born in the Bronx, New York.
Okay, so that's Bronx, not okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let me put that in there. So, the good old Bronx.
Yep.
Okay. Can you show me the chart? Thank you. Do you mind if I discuss your chart openly?
Not at all.
Okay. All right. So Lainey, you are a wow, you're a double Scorpio. Your sun is Scorpio, and your sun is Scorpio, your rising sign is Scorpio, and your moon is in Cancer. And okay, so what is it that and your Mars is in Scorpio. Wow. And what else do you have in Scorpio?
I've been told I'm a true Scorpio.
Yes, you are. You really are. You have a stellium in Scorpio. So you're kind of like a really deep, deep person, hey? You like to really, you like to get down to the nitty gritty of things.
Mhm.
You don't, Scorpio ascendant, and your Mars is in Scorpio, your Neptune's in Scorpio, your Sun is in Scorpio, so you have a stellium in Scorpio. You're very private. You're really very, very private person.
Yes.
Even though people may, think you're just the most wonderful and you're bubbly and lively, but there's a very, very private part of you that nobody sees and you don't want them to see it.
Exactly.
Okay, so what, you have a particular question?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just, the last couple of years have been very rough,
Uh-huh.
at least. And I'm just wondering if it's going to continue like this or if there is a light at the end of the tunnel for me. I just feel like things just keep getting worse and worse instead of better.
Mhm.
And I'm losing hope.
Don't lose hope. No, you can't lose hope. First of all, you're very spiritual and very mystical. So I want you to do you have a spiritual practice?
Well, I have been praying a lot.
Okay, that's very good. That's very good because with all that Scorpio, you can really get down to the bottom of things. You could really, express yourself in ways that, you can manifest stuff. You
I've
have
been
to
trying
envision it.
that.
You can have to envision it. You can manifest it.
I've been trying to do that. I'm trying to meditate, which I'm having a problem with. I'm trying to manifest things, but I would say the last couple of years, my entire life has been in total upheaval.
Well,
And
you've had all these eclipses in Scorpio and in the opposite sign of Taurus. So first of all, your planets are in the 12th house. So that means that, your hidden private self, your sorrows are very hidden and private, even though whatever you went through, other people knew about, but they didn't know how deeply it affected you. Because 12th house is, your self-imprisonment, where you hide yourself from the world. Okay. And you've had eclipses there. And those eclipses were meant to, whatever it is, and then they shot across to your Taurus house, which is the 7th house of your relationships with people. So I don't know if people came and went from your life or you had to reassess relationships or anything along those lines. But it was very rough for you. It's a rough time. It's a rough time.
very rough.
But now that the stuff has shifted into Aries, which is in your 5th house, yes, there should be some relief because the 5th house is the house of love and fun. And that's what you need. Girlfriend, you need some fun. You need to do some things that are fun. Even if you have to force yourself to do them, you're going to do them because that's what you need.
Yeah.
You have to lighten the mood. You have to lighten the mood. Whatever it is that you really like to do, I want you to indulge yourself. If it's a mani-pedi, if it's a massage, if it's just taking a little walk around the block or, whatever it is that you need to do. And as far as meditation on YouTube, there are thousands and thousands of, YouTube things that help you meditate. There are some really wonderful ones. There's the Silva method, which is very, very easy, very fast. You could learn that one in 2 seconds and it doesn't last long. It's a quick meditation. And it's also one that helps you to manifest things. So I want you to look into that. If it's soothing music, then play the music you love. Eat some of the foods that you love. Treat yourself like the goddess you are.
And let me just jump in. Just on that meditation, Lainey, when I first started to meditate, I couldn't quiet my mind or anything. I found sitting with other people, with the group. And many public libraries offer free meditation groups. If you don't mind spending a little bit just to even get yourself started. Once your mind goes to that place and you repeat it, then you may find it's easier to get there on your own. Steve Interante is a good friend of mine, and he leads meditation classes on Sundays at Soulful Living. He's very good. And there are other practitioners, of course. A lot of yoga studios offer meditations. As I said, the public libraries might, and I know a lot of like hospitals even offer, they have, outreach and they offer meditations for people to come in. So try finding a group. And if you don't like one group, try another group.
Yeah,
And
just keep trying them.
once you start being able to reach that spot, you start to create the neural pathway that enables you to reach it more frequently, quicker.
Okay.
You may be
Anyway.
meditating, but then one day you're just too rattled. You can't get there. Don't think you've lost it. The next time you will. So I'll give it back to Joann. I'm just going to jump in every now and then.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, Lainey, come,
Yes.
come the fall. You should get a lot of relief come the fall.
Oh,
In
well,
fact,
that's-
some things should happen that could kind of like, what, do you work?
Well, I take care of my granddaughter right now.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, some things should happen there where you may meet some new people, maybe through a meditation group, which will like kind of open you up to, other things, You might sit in on some lectures or do something else. I see you doing some group activities. Very,
Okay.
very, starting off very slow, but come the fall, when Venus hits Uranus in your 10th house, that's a very, very powerful conjunction for new beginnings. Okay.
That's what I'm
And it's
hoping.
Venus. So more love is involved. And love
That-
doesn't always have to be romantic love. Love can be the love of friendship. It can be the love of family. It can be the love of a pet. It can be love of a lot of things, but it will lighten your load. It will lighten
Yeah,
your load.
Everything is very broken right now, so it's just.
Well, sure, you've been through the mill. I don't know exactly what's happened to you, but I could tell from your chart that you've been through a lot.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
now it's, it just continually, every time I think, okay, things are going to get better, nothing does, and
Uh-huh.
it's just overwhelming. And I
Yeah,
like,
yeah. You're
oh,
feeling overwhelmed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor thing, poor baby. Yeah. But don't ruminate in that. Try not to ruminate in that.
I
Like
ruminate, that's my middle name.
Well, that's where the meditation will be helpful. And another practice you could try before you go to bed at night or first thing in the morning, whatever's easier for you, write 3, 4, or 5 things you are grateful for.
That's right. Try to
Focus on the gratitude, because that will attract better things to you. And on
count your
that,
blessings. Count your blessings.
Yeah.
okay. And on that note, thank you, sweetie, for joining us.
Yeah.
I
Lots
do.
of luck. Lots of luck. I hope it really works out for you. But there is relief coming. It's coming in the fall.
Oh,
Fall into the winter. Yeah.
That's good news. Thank you.
Okay.
I know that Terry had a question, and then I'm going to message you over one other person, and then maybe you can jump into some
Terry?
different stuff.
Hi, Terry Hagan.
Yes, Terry Hagan.
Okay. I have her chart in here, so I'll just
Yes.
pull it up.
And I'm going to message you the third person's information now when you're done with Terry. And then maybe jump back into generalities.
Yeah. Okay. So Terry, what's cooking?
I'm beginning to see changes.
Yeah. Well, I told you would.
Kind of quick here, lady.
Didn't I tell you would? Listen,
Yes,
this
you
thing is
did.
going to unfold. It's going to unfold, like I told you. It's going to unfold over a 2-year period for you. So, you're just going to watch it. You're just going to have to, roll with the punches and see what the hell happens here.
That's
You know?
nice. Yeah.
There's nothing. Look, you're an observer. You're an observer in this because you're not the one that's got the disease.
Right.
So, Nancy Reagan calls it the vanishing disease.
Yeah.
Okay. She watched her husband vanish in front of her eyes. And that's what it did. That's what it is. And it's
Mhm.
painful and it's hard. But while you still can, communicate with him and, just try to get along with him and be as comfortable with him as possible. That's all I could possibly say.
Okay.
Until he gets to the point where maybe you need some help physically with him, I think he should be okay. Everybody progresses at a different stage. So not everybody just like falls off the cliff. some people, it's kind of like they slouch towards Bethlehem, they slouch.
Okay.
But for you,
Okay.
with those last eclipses, it's probably about a 2-year process.
Thank you.
Now, sweetheart,
Okay.
Terry, let me jump in a little bit. Did you, number one, reach out to the Office of the Aging in where you live?
No, I haven't.
Please do that, because there are resources that they'll offer you. And number two, you probably get a lot out of a group of other spouses who are walking the same path as you, like a support group.
I do have 2 of them. Yeah.
You do. Great, great.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear you're doing that. All right, then, you can reach out to the Office of the Aging, and you may find that there are assistants out there you haven't realized that you're eligible or he's eligible for. So see, it's a phone call, and it might take them a couple weeks to get back to you, but
Okay.
all right.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. You need help. You need support. You need support in, people who've been through it, who be able to make suggestions, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I have no
That's all.
support. Yeah.
You're not alone.
Okay.
Thank
You're
you.
not alone.
Thanks for signing on, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
The next
see you.
person, and then we're going Nilu. Nilu, the only thing I didn't get, was it AM or PM for your birth time? You're muted, sweetheart. Do you know how to unmute?
1:14 p.m.
PM.
PM. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Great.
Okay. Let me get back into my, back into that. Let me add somebody. Add, what year was that?
1959.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to exercise caution with identity theft and all that. That's why I was like, oh, we'll just do it this way offline.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Because listen,
You
on
don't
my,
run into that with the psychic readings. But the astrology, since you need to pinpoint that information.
listen, I had somebody go on my page and advertise that they could give you lotto numbers, and they could tell you this guy Baba Oli, something like that. I was like, who
Oh,
the hell is this?
They do.
Who the
I had
hell
to
is
take
this?
I took my reviews down off of Facebook because I kept getting Dr. Voodoo's followers about his spells. They would give me a 5-star review and then write 14 paragraphs about Dr. Voodoo. So the only way to remove it was to just remove all of my positive reviews.
Okay, you have a question, you? What do you want?
Yes, yes, Joanne. I just want to know what my life has ahead for me. The reason being, I've noticed every year that ends in a 2 is a disaster for me. Losing loved ones, etc. Last year was the icing on the cake. I lost my dad and uncle and my son all within 7 months. So
I'm sorry.
should I stay away? I mean, I can't stay away from the 2s, the next time, but I'm scared. And after losing my son, I really don't know what my life has for me. I'm at a dead end right now.
Well, you're grieving, you're grieving. So
I'm
you
breathing,
have to go through
but
that grieving process.
yes.
And well, right now, the fact that you're talking to me, you're a Gemini. Your sun is in Gemini.
Yes.
But you have a stellium in Leo, which is your Mars, your Venus, your Uranus, and your Pluto is in Leo. No, actually, Pluto's in Virgo, almost in Leo. So that's in the 11th house. It would do you well to join a group about grieving. to do a
Okay.
grievance group. Really, it would. You know,
Okay.
grief is not something you don't get over that so quick. That takes years, and you may never get over it. But the pain isn't as intense. The pain
Okay.
isn't as intense, and you need to talk to people who have grieved. You need to
Okay.
cry. You need to talk to people who have grieved. You've got tremendous loss.
Yeah,
Tremendous.
and-
loss.
Yes.
2022 was what a year. But
The-
yes,
Yes.
it was bad. Well, it was still in COVID. You know, we were still locked down with COVID and stuff. So,
Yes.
but as far as I see, you know, you are going to so improve over the next couple of years. It's a
Okay.
whole new way of life is waiting for you.
Okay.
But it's got to start internally. It's got to start internally. You're a Gemini, Libra rising. Libra is your rising sign. So your family
Okay.
and your relationships are so important to you, but so
Yes.
important to you. And they're your life, they're your lifeblood, you know, and as they are. And but if you were to join a grievance group, either through a
Neela,
house of work, you know, wherever, they're all
Yeah.
over the place. And
Yeah,
it, like,
Joanne, let me just jump in real
Yeah.
quick. Neela, honey, after the show, email me. I
Okay.
can suggest some resources. I have people that do grief counseling because my work is medium. So I know
Okay.
some people that could show, you know, you might want to go with parents of lost children. It's a different type of loss than a loss of a parent. And it's very, very helpful for most grieving parents, which again, like Joanne said, the grief doesn't go away, it just evolves. You know,
Yeah.
you
I
don't
still cry.
get
It's going
over
to
it,
be
you
1
learn
year in August. It's going to be
That's-
1 year, but I can't imagine he's gone. I mean, it's how can he go?
but he isn't really gone, you know? You can talk
Yes.
to him anytime you want.
Yes. Yes.
So you can tap into that power too, which you have. You have that power, you know. You
Yeah,
have that power because you have your Jupiter in Scorpio, and that's in the second house of your values. So
Okay.
Scorpio is a very psychic sign. It's very psychic. If you want to tune into talking to your husband or your father or your son, you can do it. You may need somebody to facilitate it, but once you get the hang of it, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
Okay.
But you need to do the grief, and don't cry. Do not suppress the crying. You need to get that out. You need to, please. It relieves some of the grief. It does, my dear. I wish you the best of luck. Really the best.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
sending
you
you
so
love
much.
and light, and yeah, really. And listen
Thank
to
you.
Winterbrook. Listen to her. She's going to set you up with some people.
Okay. Thank you.
So do you need my email, sweetheart? Do you have my contact information?
Yes. May I have your email?
All right, I'll put it in the chat. So
Okay.
that
Okay.
we're having, the chat you and I are having.
Yes.
Can we switch a little bit back to the general?
Okay, to the general, yeah, let's see. So like, you know, look, you know, depending on, well, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about this this delicious supermoon? You know, a supermoon is a time when we can release things. We want to release things.
Okay, so what I was thinking, Joanne, was this is a good time period for folks. We're in between two supermoons this month, right? We have a blue
Right.
moon at the end.
Mhm.
The full moon is to release, and we're also in the midst of the astrological phenomenon known as the Lion's Gate,
Right.
which is a
another-
period that Cyrus works with manifesting.
Yes.
Understanding is correct. So I was going to say, if you want to make a few comments on that, this would give something for everyone here or who's learning about it, the understanding that this is a really good time to release whatever's blocking you and focus on what you want. Do a little meditation.
Yeah.
And, you know, ask the heavens for assistance because they're going to be listening with big ears.
They certainly are. and this is the time when, when Mary ascended into heaven too, she was taken up into heaven, my grandmother just loved that day. She loved that day. She just worshiped it. And Nilu, the one person that I talk to all the time is Ganesh, the remover of obstacles. He's
Okay.
a fabulous, fabulous person to talk to. His mantra is wonderful. And you can
Yes.
repeat it over and over and over again. And he works. I'm telling you, he works. I have a little
Okay.
Ganesh statue. And tonight I was getting ready to do my full moon ritual. And I gave him a little candy because he likes candy. And I put a little water next to him and I light a candle and I ask him to remove obstacles for me and to remove obstacles for my, and you could ask him to remove the obstacles to your grief. You could ask him to remove the obstacles to your financial struggles. You could ask him to remove obstacles to your romantic struggles, all of those things. And
It's a
he's
little
fast.
rat.
He's fast. He's fast. He's the elephant god. He's the elephant
Yes,
god.
I
wisdom,
do
the
have him
wisdom.
in front of me. I do have him in front of me. I do.
Yes. So
Okay.
talk to him. Talk to him. He'll remove the
Okay.
obstacles that you can't talk to your loved ones who are on the other side.
Okay.
Because they're around
Thank
you.
you.
They're around you. They are around you.
Okay.
So,
I do
but
feel
if
the
it's
sun
Virgin Mary,
is
I also
strongest.
pray, please, the Virgin Mother, I burn her ears with prayers of, helping me. And, so pray to who it is you want. Put it out there,
Joanne, I did that when my son was in a coma sort of thing. I prayed, I did my prayers. I prayed to Mother Mary, I prayed to Ganesha, I
everyone.
prayed to Shiva, but nothing.
sometimes what the fate of the person is the fate of the person,
Okay.
and so it was a reason why he had to leave. So, what can you say? You can pray. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but at least you can make the attempt, you can make the attempt.
Okay.
And the prayers that you said
Yeah.
would have been felt greatly by his soul
Yes.
and would
Yes.
have enfolded him in such a tender motherly love as he transitioned from
Yes.
incarnation to the spirit world. Now know that your son and your husband and parents, they are well on the other side and they visit frequently. I do feel the presence of a son around you strongly. The problem we have as incarnates, in the flesh, is that we don't always receive their communication clearly. However, that does not mean they're not around us. And I do feel that your son was rather a joyful young man who was very respectful and he studied. He also liked to, when you had your head turned, he'd sneak the cookie before dinner. All right. And he's a little bit of a jokester. So he retained all those qualities and he's been sharing them with me as you've been speaking with Joann. And he needs you to know he's by you, mommy. I'm by you, mommy. Okay. Even though I feel he was a grown man, he still comes through, calls you mommy or some kind of nickname that would mean mommy. I don't know if he had all right, instead of mother. And he said he fights for you. He's around you and he's making sure things run smoothly for you. He does hear everything you say. They are together on the other side. And here's the game kicker. When you go to sleep at night, you're out of your body faster than anything. And you are joining them in the in-between. So sometimes you do have a dream like you feel like your son or your husband was present.
Yes.
That's because you've just been with them and you remember that moment. All right. Now, even though you know this intellectually and you can believe this, the mourning and the grief still hurts emotionally. That's what makes us sane, competent, rational people, that we hurt when the ones we love leave us. Okay. So as Joanne suggested, I sent you my email and
Yes, I got it.
reach out to me if you'd like, and I can connect you with people in the bereavement areas, to help you maybe find a group where you, because again, I always feel that when you're with somebody walking the same path, you can find a greater comfort sometimes because they understand it, even if you've never met them before. So I'd be happy to give you that kind of information. Okay.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
send
you.
you a hug now because it's a tough one. It really is. But know that he'll never stray far and he'll be waiting to greet you when it's your time.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
God bless
Thank
you. All right.
Thank you.
Sorry, Joanne.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so things should get a little easier for us. Things are going to really ease up around the 23rd of August when the sun gets out of Leo. It'll move into Virgo, which will calm situations down. We may get busier around that time, of course, because it's like the end of the summer. So of course we are going to get busier. But Pluto, the influence of Pluto won't be so cantankerous because Pluto in Capricorn gets along very well with the sun in Virgo. They're both earth signs, so they work together. So you can see the fruition of a project. You could see the beginnings of something, that you were working on, or an opportunity could come your way. You may get an offer of some kind. And then at the end of the month, as we work towards the new moon, which will be in Pisces, that's the time to plant seeds. The Farmer's Almanac, you always planted your seeds on the new moon. And then, it took 6 to 8 to 9 months for the plants to come up. So that's when we plant seeds. So we plant some spiritual seeds for ourselves as to what it is we want to bring in, what it is we want to bring in. What do we want to improve? What do we want to improve in ourselves, in our situations, with our family, with our coworkers, with our boss, whatever. If you want to start a new business, how am I going to go about doing it? You plant seeds to bring in the opportunities for you to grow like that plant you are planting. Okay? That's what the new moon is all about. And it's a very kind of an introspective time, and it will be in Pisces, so it will be watery, it will be dreamy, it will be it'll be gentle. It's a gentler moon. The blue moon. I'm sorry, I think it's a new moon. It's a blue moon. It will be gentler. It will be gentler because it's in the sign of Pisces. It might be more emotional. It could bring up a lot more emotion because Pisces is water, and you could just get a wave of emotion. But, it also is very good for art projects, any kind of creative projects. It's really good for that stuff. If you suddenly decided, you wanted to, get yourself involved in something artistic, and it's really, it's ideal. It's an ideal time for you to do that at the end of the month. Setting us up, for the fall, setting us up for the fall.
I just want to make ectoplasm. And have faces.
I just want Aladdin's lamp. I just want to rub a lamp and have a genie come and give me wishes. So I'm still looking for him. I look for him all the time. But
that sounds good.
It's that kind of thing. We have to kind of. And it's a really good time this month. Listen, we could take a break from all of this stuff and try to nurture ourselves. We have to be kind. Kindness is the antidote to all of this. And charity begins at home. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Try to pamper yourself. Try to banish bad thoughts. Try to improve your situation that way, and then extend that to others. Even if it's cantankerous, even if you can't, you can't stand the person, you got to try to be very, very kind to them because, everybody's going through something. Everybody is going through something. If you look at it from that higher level, which is very, easy for me to say here, watch me in traffic. It's like that kind of thing where you really can lose it. It's very hard to bless the person that cut you off and almost caused the accident. So, but we have to kind of sort of train ourselves towards that. And as we move more into the Pluto into Aquarius, which it will go into in January, Pluto will kind of brings people together with a sense of community. We're going to see a big shift in our government. We're going to be a big shift in our way of life. It's just something that we have to adjust to, and how we have to go along with it. We have to go along with it. Not all going to be bad. There's some wonderful, wonderful things on the horizon. There really are, because life is just a combination of all sorts of things. And in the astrology of your chart, like if I do your chart, I can show you where your strengths and your weaknesses are, where your strengths are. So that's kind of like what astrology does. It kind of guides us. But right now we're under some very, very we're being forced to change because the old ways don't work anymore. However, when the ground is shifting underneath our feet, we're very uncomfortable. We're very, very uncomfortable. And depending on where, Pluto hits you in your chart, or where the North Node or the South Node hits you in your chart, that's where the changes are going to come in. Okay?
Joann, let me just take a quick second. I know a lot of people are starting to need to step away, but I wanted to remind you guys that Joann does a fabulous annual reading. What do you call those? What do you have a name?
Oh,
I know.
but
I just
when
call
you come to me, I do your birth chart. I'll do your birth chart. So I'll tell you about your basic personality. And then I progress your chart ahead into the future to see what's coming up, because the planets shift and they affect your chart in a different way. So, I see where your progressions are and what could come about with them. And then if you have a partner and you want me to add that person in, I'll add that person in, to see what the mix is, and the mix of the planets and how they will affect you.
Yep.
Okay.
So I have been blessed. That's one of my birthday treats. I treat myself to a
Yes.
with Joann, and it's been very useful and very exciting when she has done the readings for me. I just want to give a little commercial on my stuff coming up. August 11th, for those of you who live on Long Island, the Eyes of Learning are having their psychic circle night. It's usually done in the fall, but the Levittown Hall gave them an August date. So August 11th, it's a Friday night. There will be 5 psychics, myself included. I'm back this year, feeling better. And I think Michelle Wright and Ed Pierce, my lovely Dee Cologne, and oh dear goodness, I can't remember the last person. My apologies. So what'll happen is it's very inexpensive. The Eyes of Learning is Long Island's largest and oldest not-for-profit metaphysical learning community, and it's like $15 or $20. They're not doing it by Zoom. You'll take a seat, and the psychics will spend 20 to 25 minutes with each group, and then we rotate. It's like speed dating. The psychics are the men, if you've been to speed dating, and the audience is the women. So you might get no messages, you might get 5 messages, depending on where they are drawn. So be advised about that coming up August 11th. It's around the corner, when it's usually like October, November. For those of you that follow my newsletter, get my newsletter, there's a bunch. I have fall classes I'm going to do. Psychic and mediumship readings, animal communication, and some remote viewing / astral projection. That's going to be a part of the 6-week classes in the fall. I'm doing them on Zoom again because I like to be able to include people that live farther than a half hour from my office, from other states that want to join in for the classes. So hopefully that is right up your alley on Wednesday nights. Who here besides myself would love to see Joann run like a 4-part astrology class?
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it.
Okay,
thinking
and
about doing it. Yeah.
I'll help
Maybe
you.
on
You
Zoom.
know, I'm going to be teaching trance for Spirit School in Vancouver. They'll set that up for me, and I will be more than happy if you want, if you need assistance, to help you get that set up. Because I just love learning from you. I think
Oh,
she's
thank
great.
you. Thank you. So are there any more questions?
Just a lot of accolades from people that were
Oh,
here.
thank you. Thank you.
Lori Hall would love to, and I bet some of the folks that left, they might love to join in
Mhm.
if you're going to do a class. And any other questions? I'm looking online. Lots of compliments of people from Facebook that have learned a lot from tonight, and thanking you. And Sharon would love to take a class from you as well. So there's definitely a desire. And I think we're good. So here's an example of manifesting. I've been putting it out there. I'd love Joanne to teach a class. And guess what? I think she
Yes,
almost
I think
got
I will.
committed.
I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'll just have to like get a format. I'll get a format. You know, everybody wants to learn about astrology, but you know, it's kind of difficult to so I have to maintain the information. You know what I mean? It's something that, you know, takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to absorb it, you know. But I could do some.
You know what, sweetheart? I love astrology, but I have not walked down that path because my memory is just not what it used to be. So I'm focusing more on the
Yeah, the mediumship stuff,
transfiguration, the physical
Yeah.
mediumship. And did I mention I'm going to be in, they're having an international physical mediumship conference in Albany. It actually 100 tickets sold out in about a week time.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and I'll be teaching transfig and trance there, and we're having the top guys in: Kai Moogie, Gary Mannion, Bill Bolt, and Vinnie Nar, who's a Native American who practices physical mediumship along with the spiritual practices of many tribes and indigenous peoples. And then I'll be one of the tutors along with Inga Croson and Karen Richards from Australia. And yeah, it's 100 tickets went in 7 days. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I can't even fathom to the what you have absorbed and what you're able to recall is just brilliant. So
I
love
really love
learning.
helping people. I really do. I really love helping people. And if I could show them a little insight through their natal chart as to what's coming down the pike for them, what might help them out a little bit, that's my greatest pleasure. I mean, that's the reason for astrology. It's the stars. It's the stars that have guided us since the beginning of time, you know, since the beginning of time. Like, you know, this hammer of Thor. Somebody said to me, why do they call it a hammer of Thor? What do Vikings have to do with astrology? I said, hey, how do you think they sailed their ships?
Right?
There was no ways in those days. They had to look at the sky. That's how they got around, you know? So, you know, it's the power of the universe. It's the power of nature. And these natural things that come, the influences of the planets, the influence of the sun and the moon on your body. And, you know.
Yeah, that's what I
your
mentioned
environment.
before. The uptick in hospital admissions for pregnant ladies because of the tidal change. I mean, we're water. So
Right.
that's why we have an increase
Right.
in women giving birth around the full moon. And Hammer of Thor, I just love Viking mythology, being that my grandmother emigrated from Norway to Northport.
Yeah.
And I've been over there, and oh my goodness, talk about the elemental energy in Norway. Just totally off the kilter. But if you ever have the opportunity to visit Norway, it is the most gorgeous country I've ever seen, with the waterfalls and the elemental energy, because you know I love to work with the elementals. So one more time, hi, Karen Morrissey. To get a hold of Joanne, you can reach her through, I have it written in the chat, the general chat, or I'll just repeat it now. her email is Joanne, JOANNELA 1219 at AOL.com. You can go to her Facebook page,
And
Astrology
just message me. Yeah.
for All, and you can message her through there or Facebook Messenger. The cell phone, I'll let her give, but don't forget, guys, she is on Long Island in New York. So if you're calling from somewhere else out of the country, just let her know. I don't know if you have international calling. Here's Rosemary. Hello, beautiful.
It's Astrology and All.
Oh,
Okay. It's
Astrology,
Astrology and All. And my cell phone number is 516-996-5354. We could message me and I'll answer you. Or you could call me and I'll answer you. So, if you're interested in a reading.
So, all right. Thank you for everyone who came out tonight, and this has been recorded. So if you just jumped in at the tail end and you want to hear all the wonderful insights Joann gave us at the top of the show, then please feel free to rewatch it. It's on my Facebook page. Joann shared it to her Facebook page, and it's also on my YouTube channel, which is just under Winterbrook Psychic Medium. If you want to like my YouTube channel, I think I need a certain amount in order to get a name. This is why I have to hire a 17-year-old or someone
I know.
who's able to help me with that. I can't keep up with it, so I don't even try. I'm just focusing on my mediumship and my boobies. So he wants to say
Hey,
hello to everybody.
Everyone, before you go to sleep tonight, write your Christmas list. Write out your Christmas list, because the full moon is like Christmas. So you write out your Christmas list so you can get some gifts. The big Santa in the sky is going to give it to you, okay? Every thought that comes to fruition is written down. It's written down. Once you put it to paper, it manifests. Okay? An architect thinks about a building. What does he do? He draws it. Okay? So it's the kind of thing where if you want to bring it to be, and tonight's the full moon in Leo, the sky's the limit. Leo is on Aquarius, which rules astrology, which rules the skies. So that message is going to fly on air. It's going to fly on air. Aquarius is an air sign. So, hey, I want this. Write it down. Write it down. And then you can say it.
And just to help it along a little, after you ask the universe for something, thank them for conspiring it to bring it to you, and then feel real gratitude for that which you have, whether it be children or pets, or because that just helps your energy amp up the manifestation process.
Yes.
Okay. So good night, everybody. Thank you, and have a wonderful Lionsgate period. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you both. Thank you. Bye-bye.